Alright, in this short video tutorial what we're going to be looking at is advanced table formatting without CSS, without cascading style sheets. Left, we're going to be looking at is advanced table formatting without CSS, without cascading style sheets. So some of the first things you'll see is I've got a title set inside the head tags, that's typical. Inside the two body tags I've got the table. So the table code that's here, the script that I've written here, is actually reproduced over here, and you can see the output of it. Now, what I'm going to ask that you do is just kind of follow along here and see that some of the attributes inside the table, the setup of the table, the attributes in here, for instance, cell padding, I've set the cell padding value to 5. You'll see over here that the TIE Fighter, even though I've aligned it to the top left, it is actually 5 pixels in from the left and 5 pixels from the top. A cell padding of 5 means that around the entire cell, in every one of these cells, there's an invisible padding of 5 pixels. You can change that to whatever you want. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 20, 100, whatever you want. Don't make it bigger than the cell though, and that's pixels. Cell spacing sets the spacing between each cell. It's typically set to 0. Typically you won't put anything else besides 0. The default is 0 if you don't include it, but you can play around with that and try that. I would urge that you copy this text, this document into a test HTML page and actually try manipulating the table and changing the sizes and the background colors, and try moving the TIE Fighters around to different locations within those cells. The next attribute I've set here is the width of the table, because it's inside the table tag. The width is set to 800, so the distance from here over to the right is actually 800 pixels, and the height is 500, so from top to bottom is 500. Set the border to 2, so you can see I've got a border of 2. That means that the border width is 2 pixels in size. You can put that to 1, to 0. 0 gets rid of it, which is kind of fun because then you can actually manipulate those images and it looks like they're floating in space. And then you can set it to whatever you want. So I would again try that and see what you can do. The next one is that I've got a inside the first row, so you see I've got TR, there's the first row, that's this here, and then I've got another row here, right there. I set the first row height to 300. So that means that the first row is 300 pixels in height. Now you'll see in the next one I didn't set a height attribute, and that's because I've already set this to 300. If the total height of the table is 500, it automatically will make this bottom one 200, and you can see that that's 200 pixels compared to 300 pixels. That's always the case. Now for the columns in the first row. So we're inside the first row tags, and now I've got the columns set up. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, and you're going to notice there's 1, 2, 3, 4 separate column tags. The first column I've set the width attribute to 200, so you can see it's 200 in width. I've set the alignment, that's horizontal alignment, to left. So that means any content that's in here within that tag is going to be set left. And I've set the vertical alignment to top, and you can see that that's where the TIE Fighter is sitting. In this case, the content I've made is just a quick little, I made a short URL to an image of a TIE Fighter, and I scaled it down to a width of 40. Now you'll see that that is an HTTP site, so I didn't save it locally. And what you'll notice is that now I'm referencing, that's the content I'm putting. I can put any content I want, and it would be aligned to the left and stuck to the top. So that's the first one. The second one, I've made the width 200, and you can see it's 200. I've vertically aligned the object right, and I've horizontally aligned it right, and I've vertically aligned it bottom. So that's why it's stuck there. Next attribute I've added is a background color, and I've set the background color to this nice blue color. Again, I've got the content in there. What you can see about the width of the next one is that it's set to 300, horizontally aligned left and vertically aligned center. There's the TIE Fighter. And the last one has a width of 100, and it's got another attribute called row span that we're going to visit in the next tutorial. You'll notice that 200 plus 200 plus 300 gives us 700, plus 100 is 800 in width, and that matches the width of the table. In the next video tutorial, I'm going to talk to you about the row span and column span to get these fancy tables.